Hello, 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 reading one. I'm literally starting this at 10:11. You're reading one, and today in real time is the very first day of 2026. I was like, do you want me to start at 11:10? Because technically, if you look at the numerology of it, January is one, it's the first one, and then 2026 comes out to the number 10. So it's 11. It's 11:10, but you know what I'm saying? But I'm starting your reading on 10:11. It's just kind of backwards. So maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, let's put it this way. I've been putting this together for a long time. And I was like, do you want me to do anything else? I'm kind of looking around and I heard I just heard to look down. And when I saw the time, I heard start right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited. You're the very first reading too, for me as well for 2026. And if you take off the zero, because zero does have a value, but if you take it off, right, and if you're working with math, right, it would have no value. So it would come out to the number 3. So 3 may be significant for you as well. And I kept hearing the number 12 when I was setting your reading up. So I don't know 100% what that means, but it could mean something to you. So, because 12 also comes out to the number 3. We just got out of December. So maybe something was going on there. I don't know. So here is our theme. I'm so excited. I love when they have me just jump in and not do a description or anything. And let me tell you something. If you were a little surprised by the Nightmare Before Christmas deck with your feather, you wouldn't be alone. I'm getting this together. I feel like the more I was trying to make it very spiritual and deeply connected, the more I felt like I wanted to be playful, but I felt like I was kind of working against myself. So I don't know if that means anything to you guys as well, but when I was going through all my decks, 30 plus, I might have 40 now. I should probably count them. But I was like, what? Because I'm putting the feathers together with the candle. I'm taking the cover picture. I'm sure you saw the cover photo. And my very first thing was, oh, are we using the Native American Spirit deck? Well, I call it the Native American Spirit deck, but it's the Spirit Animal deck. I thought it was going to be that. I just was like, oh, cool. We're going to start with this very spiritual, again. But interestingly enough, they chose this one. And Christmas is over. So very interesting. It's you're starting the new year. But I don't know if it's just the deck itself or what's going on. So I love it when it's elusive to me as well. I haven't chosen a card. I have no idea. So the title of this reading is Messages You Need to Hear to Start the New Year. Also, I was picking up on your energy and I'm hearing slow down. Maybe some of you had a really intense month. Also, I didn't want to put it on the cover or on the front because I don't want people to choose. If people know feathers, then they know, but your feather is from a turkey and it's actually from a really good friend of mine. His name on Earth, when he was in Earth in a body, his name was Rusty. And of course, he was named by the people who, found him. But the magical thing about Rusty is he was a wild turkey. They had a huge, huge farm, 100 and something acres, lots of animals, lots of chickens. But this turkey flew in on Earth Day. And he was big and beautiful and magical. And she's like, well, I guess we'll just keep him. And then when they started to feed him, they were like, oh, maybe he's giving himself to us. They're like, maybe he's, whatever. And then when Thanksgiving came around, they couldn't bear to kill him because he was so amazing. He had such a great personality that they just couldn't do it. And I was so grateful because he became one of my best friends. The first time I went to the farm, he was I could hear, he was so fucking loud. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's Rusty. And I didn't think anything of it at the time, but he was really going off. And she was like, I don't know what is going on right now. She's like, but I don't know what's wrong with him. She's like, maybe we should go over there. And then we went over there and he and I had this instant bond. And while I was there, we ended up moving there. And when we were there, I found one of his feathers and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And she's like, oh, you can have it. You know, she's like, you find any feathers, you can have them. I'm like, oh, thank you. I was really, really into collecting feathers at the time. So long story short, he would molt, and he molted twice, in right when we got there and right when we moved. And he would dance around the feathers. It's like he would just like shake them off and give them to me. And then he'd dance around like certain ones and special ones. And I don't know why they're not having me show it. Maybe they'll, because I was going to say, one of my favorite things is how, ooh, what was that? How iridescent. I don't know. Can you see how it's iridescent? Do you see that? I wanted to bring in like the light and do different things, and they were like, no. They were very specific how they wanted things to be today, because they're your messages, you know. I mean, I get excited and everything, but I'm the messenger. This is your gig, you know. So let's jump into the cards and see what they have to say. I love this deck. It's actually one of my favorite decks, and I don't use it very often. So when it comes in, not only do I take it as a huge sign, like something really awesome is coming, but also I think because it's like around Christmas and certain energies. Anyway, this was on the bottom and my eyes went immediately to it. So I don't know if it's going to come up or not, but aces are about new beginnings. Ace of Potions and the butterfly. So even if it's just like a wink wink to like tell you you're on the right track, like, I mean, hello, aces are new beginnings. Number one, you're reading one. You know, I mean, there's like all of these things that are really magical. I feel like they want this to go a certain way. There's all these markings in the wood, and I actually cleaned the wood. I cleaned this out before I started it because I got the vibe from them that they wanted everyone to have like a clean slate, a fresh, you know what I mean? A fresh year, a fresh, there's going to be a lot of purging this year, I'm hearing while I'm shuffling the cards. Okay, Spirit. So I call upon your higher self, my higher self, and our guides. I already called them in, but I'm feeling like somebody wants the ceremony of it. I call upon the healing energies of the universe as well. And all you have to say is, I accept these healing energies. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, healing energies. I call upon our higher selves and our guides and all those who watch out for us and protect us and love us. With grace and gratitude, we thank you for these healing energies. We accept these healing energies, and you just have to say, I accept the healing energy from the universe. Use your own languaging, however you do your own healing. This is just a connection. This is just a portal to the divine. Ooh, they're having me really get into it like the Mr. Miyagi. Oh, yeah, let's get in there. Let's get in there. Yeah, we're going to have some deep healing. This is going to be a year of deep healing, deep cleansing. 10 is about endings and 1s are about new beginnings. New beginnings. We're channeling healing energy. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for healing us from the inside out and the outside in our mind, our bodies, and our soul. We are one as a collective. We are whole. Whatever's in the greatest and highest good of each individual. Yes, with grace and gratitude and peace and prizes. I heard prizes. Yeah. Ooh, it's going to be such a great year. It is a great year. It's a great year. They want you to say that 2026 is going to be the best year of our lives. And we're going to see destruction. We're going to see ugly things. And remember that, you know if you are an addict or have been with an addict or know an addict or been around the energy, you know that when they really, really change, when they really, really heal, it has to get really, really, really gross before it gets better. So I'm hearing that, it's going to be that point of no return moment. If Anna's watching this reading, she knows. Anna and I, it's like one of our favorite movies of all time with Jane Fonda. It's based on La Femme Nikita, but I just think it's I love the story of La Femme Nikita, and every version I've ever seen has its own wealth and like interesting energy. But there is something really special about the one with Bridget Fonda. Her acting is so beautiful, and You know, I feel like that's a lot of what's going to be happening right now. Also, I finally saw Wicked for Good on January 30th. It was so, or excuse me, hello. Ooh, that must mean something for us or for you guys. I do feel like this could be my reading because I keep wanting to say us, like, and also I feel like these readings are like a collective reading. It's a pickle reading within a pickle reading. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like each one has its own story. They didn't have me pull decks. I have a feeling that each one may have their own deck, or maybe it will be this one. I don't know, but I was shocked when this one came in, and it does feel, they do feel very individualized, as do the feathers. So, while this healing energy is coming in right now, it's filtering in. Thank you, Spirit, for balancing and clearing our chakras and our auric field of that which no longer serves our greatest and highest good. We are done with 2025. We say thank you to 2025 with grace and gratitude. We bow to you. Thank you so much for the lessons, the learning, the love, the understanding, the compassion, the patience that we had for our loved ones and for each other. For the shift in the, and thank you to the snake. We're not out of the woods yet. That's what they want you to see. Today is the 1st. February 17th is the year of the fire horse. When the year of the fire horse comes in, it is going to burn through this motherfucking year. And you know what's funny is I do feel like, I feel like Spirit wants me to stop swearing. So that's something I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be, I feel like we're all going to be setting a lot of intentions on this day because it's a portal as well. It's the 1-1 portal, and it's a 1-1-1 portal. I mean, but think about this. They want you to say, or they want me to say, that a year from today on the 1st, it will be 11. 2027 is an 11 year. So it'll be a 1-1-1-1. Okay. So they want you to keep your fucking eye on the prize. How fast did 2025 go? Like that. A lot of people are like, wow, it feels like the fastest and slowest year of our lives. It's like, yeah, because the descent of the 3rd dimensional energy wants to keep bringing us down and saying horrible things and saying falsehoods and whatever. But you know what the interesting thing is? People will have enough. And what's going to happen is it's the same thing that happened in World War II. It's the same thing that happened in the Civil War in America and through every country and every time and space, and what was going on and is still going on with Israel and Gaza. And okay, now listen. All of these things that are happening, it's because it's a breakdown everywhere. It's not like, oh, one country's superior. No, it's the countries that did the most damage are the ones that are going to have the biggest turnovers. They're going to have the ones that are going to have the biggest things there. I mean, look at China and Japan. I mean, Asia itself is actually famous. India. I mean, there are so many countries in Asia that are known for their spirituality, like throughout history. My gosh, the Buddha, you know? So, you know, it's the same thing. Jesus from the Middle East. And they turned Jesus into a white man with blue eyes. It's like there were no white people with blue eyes at the time. It was the fucking desert. Like, you know, these people, we were blessed to have certain hair colors, certain eye colors, and certain things. They actually, our skin tone, the melanin, the melatonin or whatever, you know, right? Like that is put there to protect our skin from the sun. Some areas don't get as much. That's why, like the Nordic, they're more pale. It's like they kind of resemble the area they're from, right? Because they're part of nature. This is the new beginnings that they want us to see. And they're not new beginnings. they're what was when we started this project. When we started Earth Project, when we started this soul school, when this began, it was literally placed here for an expansion of our soul expansion. And there are other countries and there are excuse me, thank you. There are other planets and other solar systems and universes and all these different things. They're going through the same but different. But Earth itself is kind of like all of those from the universe come here. That's why our other planets aren't, you know, they lay dormant, right? Like Earth is the star, but we need to have something to help the solar system so we don't suck up into the energy of the sun and the moon. So I know these are things that I'm like, what is happening? I'm channeling, by the way. My eyes have been closed ever since I started the healing process. But, you know, also for some of you, yes, it's beautiful to do the whole rigmarole, I guess, I don't know how you would say it, the whole ritual of like a healing, or like when you're doing a meditation, listening to one, doing your own, right? Like you may start it with, you know, however you start it, welcome spirit, welcome higher self, I don't know, however you do it, right? And then you have an ending, like, thank you. But also at the same time, you have to trust your higher self and trust the universe and the energy that when you're done, you're done. You don't have to get into that. Fucks with our mind too. It's another fucking control thing for our mind. It's another programming into our brain that started, which may have, you know, started innocently, you know, or it may have started with the, you have to have it this way, or you have to do it this way. It, you know, it just cuts off. It's like, no, let that energy flow until it's done. Your body knows when it's done. I'm getting the chills from spirit. For you reading one, feather one, it is time for you to stop being so rigorous. Stop trying to control the narrative, spirit said. And getting grounded. I had no stones or crystals, but those wanted to come in. And it's interesting because we've got a pyrite, which is around like wealth and money. And then we have agates, which is about getting grounded. So your mission, should you choose to accept it for 2026, is not just talking about getting grounded, but really getting grounded. Stop working in jobs that are totally third dimensional, that you don't fit in, you don't understand, they don't understand you. Get the fuck out. I'm going to change my languaging. I'm working on it. But that one came out kind of intense. But you have to remember, this is your higher self energy coming through me. And maybe this is like, some of you don't like curse words, or you feel like it's damning or whatever, but it's also a way to be fierce. My termite family is talking right now as well. I know that may sound freaky and gross to some people, but we have some wood damage in our place, and I was concerned about it, and I asked spirit if we should knock the walls out, and long story short, they said no. And then I saw a termite and I was like, oh no, but I only saw one, but I felt like they came out to talk to me. It was, I don't know how to explain it, but you know, I mean, I am what I am, but I felt like we had like this kind of like friendship or understanding. And so I've said, you know, can you please not speak, or can you please not work or eat or whatever, like at certain times. And because I tried to get them out, and spirit was like, no, they're actually here to help you. They're actually a really good energy. They eat away the rot and the wood and stuff underneath. Because my ceiling is like fine, but you can see that there's water damage, you know, in the wallpaper or whatever. So I was concerned about that. And I started treating the walls and everything. So I feel like for some of you, like my throat chakra is saying it's time to speak your truth. And look at and work with termite spirit medicine. If spirit calls me to, I'll put in the description box. I did a pick a reading messages for 2026. If you haven't seen it, you might want to check it out. It was a really, really good reading. But also before that, I did a group reading on the first quarter moon. And I did them on the same day, but they had me do them on separate videos. So I'll put links of those below if you haven't seen them. They were both really powerful. We had group predictions and pulled the cards for the pick a reading in the first quarter moon reading. And then we, you know, did the 2026 predictions. Oh, and if you watch this in real time, I don't know when they're going to have me put this out, but the full moon in Cancer is a really magical moon of release and letting go. Also, Cancers are very sensitive. They're very emotional. So you may be feeling very weepy, you know, maybe having some relief that 2025 is over and that you're ready for a change. Because I know a lot of people are going to, I think what they're trying to show us is that what's going to happen in 2026 is, you know, some people think that AI and the internet are evil, but it's actually a way that spirit has been working with us and connecting us together when they've been trying to drive us apart again. And that's why they're not going to win this time. And that's why they didn't win in those other wars. But now we are connected. We are more connected now than we've ever been. So there are underground, like you think there was an underground railroad before, right? And the Civil War, it's like, imagine what we have now. You know, because a lot of the things that we have now are devices that they used during the Cold War. And the Cold War is basically what happened after World War II. Yeah, you know, Hitler died and, you know, they were like, yay, we won and whatever. But that doesn't mean that they just all went, oh, you're right. I'm going to love all people and I'm not going to be racist and I'm not going to be greedy or whatever. It's like, no, they just went underground. Why do you think they want these files from the American president? And like, you know what I mean? Like, because all these people are being exposed. They're getting exposed, you know? Spirit had me, I saw this small clip that they talked about the sitting American president, you know, mentioning resigning or something. And I'm like, oh, yeah, right. Because that's what cowards do, right? Like, he's not going to face, you know, whatever. But either way, he'll lie and people, it won't, you know what I mean? It's like, there's only so much you can do and fakery and fuckery. But then there's other people who are like, I saw you with my eyes. So you can't manipulate my own thoughts or what I'm saying. You might try and manipulate my video. You might try to manipulate, you know, my, a phone call, but there are things that are being put in place and laws that are being put in place. And the internet, when it first started, was like the fucking wild, wild west again. And they want you to remember that. But over time, there are people like Jasmine Crockett and so many that I can go on and on, but she feels like my Wonder Woman right now. Because I do feel like, even though we have like Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, those are two of my other favorites, but Jasmine is, what's powerful about Jasmine is she's old enough to know better, but like not old enough to like, you know what I mean? Like where she hasn't become so jaded in politics, because I watched it myself. So there is a lot of manipulation and things that have been going behind the scenes, but there are a lot of people who are very well respected all over the world and other people who are known for being what they are. I mean, you know, so it's like you can only lie so much or say so much or do so much, but like old footage is like coming up from, you know, like old like 70s and 80s and things like that, where, you know, they didn't think it was a big deal. And they're like, oh, it's a big deal now, because at the time they were, again, trying to bring it back, trying to bring the boys club, trying to not bring it back, but keep it going. You know, with the 50s and the American housewife and the women stay in the kitchen and all this. And we're pushing back and fighting the narrative. It's like, you know, I never thought they would overturn Roe versus Wade. Like I never, ever, ever, ever thought that would happen. I mean, when it happened, I was like, what in the fucking what, you know? But at the same time, I think that there are ways that we can do it where they're more natural as well. And we don't have to go into invasive and do abortions. There are ways to have a natural miscarriage, you know, where it hasn't really formed or it hasn't, you know what I mean? Like having early detection, you know, they say that you can actually know within, I think, 72 hours whether someone's pregnant or whatever. Like they just, so there's a lot of, because just about like how your body changes, right? Like it's happened. So, you know, the seed and the egg have, you know, come together. So your body has to automatically change to its nesting. Your body is nesting. So when they're like, oh, it takes this long, or, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like when I got pregnant, I had cancer. I had cervical cancer. So if I knew then what I know now, I could have just naturally waited, or excuse me, I could have just naturally, like, you know, it would have been hard, but I would have been like, I know this is the best thing. Instead, they detected it at like 3.5, 4 weeks, and I had to wait until it was big enough for them to, so I bonded with my child. I bonded with this energy. And then I was like, no, I'd rather, you know, they're like, but you could die or the baby could die. And it's like all these things that happen to me. It's like, I know that I'm not the only one that happened to, you know. So this is about being advocates and fighting, you know, the divine feminine and pushing back against the, you know, the old patriarchal pushing of like what things should be, who people should be, you know, rolling back. Like, it's like basically they just don't like it. That's the bottom fucking line. They don't like black people. They don't like gay people. If they don't like you, then you are put on a ban list. And that is a fucking creepy, weird, crazy, like that does come from a crazy place in our brains. And I don't like to use that word, but it really is. It's not a natural state. That comes from pain, greed, suffering, lack. Spirit did this thing recently because they had me reboot my Lilith's Labyrinth description page. And basically they were like, fun fact, they're like, the only reason why there are wars or why, you know, it comes from lack. Lack of love, lack of not getting what you want. And that turns into resentment. Resentment turns into, you know what I mean? And all of these, and it spins off into the shadow. So 2026 is the light coming back, like full force. And we all felt it. We felt it towards the end of the year. I felt it with every fiber of my being. I said, I want this December to be the most magical December I've had. You know, I'm like either ever or like, you know, just bring me magic. And everything, my birthday, Yule, I mean, you know, I went to a drum circle, like I did all these fun things. I went and saw Wicked. I hung out with my partner, you know, like, it was just like a really fun, cool month. And at the same time, I met all these new people. I got to work on my channels and work on my home. And it just felt like a really awesome transition from fall to winter. And now we are full on into winter. You know, and today in real time is the end of Yule. So the light is back, but also we have to remember in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in winter, Southern, we are in summer. But those are the times and the seasons where we get more inward. We rest and restore. Spring, we plant. Fall, we harvest. Winter, we rest. Summer, we play and rest. And winter, you can play too, but I really feel like this winter is going to be so special for us. And then in the winter, we're going to go from the snake and shedding of that skin in that old world into the new rebirth of the fire horse. So I keep forgetting what the snake was. I don't remember. I was going to write it down. If they have me, I'll put it in the description box. Or what it is. It still is. So we've got 30 days, 30 plus 17. So we've got like 47 days until the fire horse comes in real time. Drink some water, they said too. And stay hydrated. It's going to be a big year. We're going to be going through a lot of stuff. And then we'll be going into the last month of whatever season we're in. But then when the spring comes and the fall comes, we're going to be setting those intentions, planting those seeds. We're going to be harvesting all the good deeds that we did for the year. It's kind of interesting because if you look at it, like, I feel like the Southern Hemisphere is actually before us, really, if you look at it, because they'll be bringing in the harvest. Unless, I guess, I don't know. I was going to say maybe they'll be bringing in the harvest of 2025. Because I'm getting this, like, not that one should be above or below. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, it has to go in some rotation, right? Because one's up and one's down. So it's the balance of it. But it's like the chicken and the egg. Which one starts? Because technically I could say 2026 because the Northern Hemisphere starts with spring. Maybe we are going to be planting the seeds for 2026. And maybe that's what the Southern Hemisphere is to bring in the harvest. That's really powerful. I just saw the spiral. So maybe that is the way that they see it, or they want us to see it anyway. How I'm seeing it now today. You know what I mean? It changes, things change. But I'm getting this vibe that for you guys, you're the way showers, as they say, the leaders. And you have a lot of work to do in terms of getting you straight. That's why all these grounding energies came in, because they're like, you need to get your shit straight so that you can be the teacher, you can be the leader. I've got like chills all over my body, right? Like, it's time for you to get back into alignment. The truth is, I've been hearing that. I think that's our key word for 2026 is alignment. I've been hearing it in so many different places and readers, but we'll see if they have me do anything. A lot of times they have me do like a group reading, so I don't know when and how they'll have me do that, but and I don't know if they're going to have me do any full moon readings on Saturday. I have a private session on Saturday. By the way, if you'd like to work with me, I do private sessions one-on-one, but I also do couples and groups. That sounds so wrong, but you know what I mean. Channeling, you know, it's channeling readings. It just depends. I do healing. I do so many things that some sessions are a full-on channeling, some are a full-on healing, you know, some we pull cards, you know, some it's all of the above. So, and it's also a sliding scale because sometimes they're in person, sometimes they're over the phone, over Zoom, a video. In my experience, the videos are the least expensive because it's just me, it's you, it's for you or your couple or for your group or whatever. And that could be like maybe you had somebody who crossed over and you need some information, or maybe, you know, you're having a get together with some people, and a lot of, you know, it just depends. Different things come through. I mean, I that's why I'm a medium. I'm the magical medium, because I'm very blessed to have all the clairs. You know, it's like I have all the gifts that I need when I need them. It's really the only way I can describe what I do. And that's why I think they, you know, donned me the magical medium. Because when I was going through my process, the turquoise woman was one of the first things that came through when I was given a quote unquote title or label when I worked with the Native American Cherokee people. And they told me I'd be walking, you know, the good red road and all that. And so I also, like, the reading that I'm doing on Saturday is a pro bono. Sometimes spirit calls me to read for somebody, and I don't know why, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not asking for money. It's not about that exchange of energy. So it's like whatever is meant to be is meant to be. So there you go. Okay. And all my information is in the description box. And my email is magickalmedium@gmail.com. And if you guys don't know this, when you're in the description box, you can actually highlight things, and you can click to, at least I can do it on my phone. So I don't know if it's the way that my apps are or whatever, but like if I highlight magickalmedium@gmail.com, it'll like pull up like my email and be like, do you want to email this person? So just so you know, it's easier to do it that way. And then, you know, because sometimes people forget the K. And I always say, remember that it's magical with a K, the old English way. Okay, so those are your channeled messages. And now we're going to step into the cards. And if any more channeled messages come through, I'm hearing David. I don't know if that's you or somebody you know, but it's David and George. They came in. George was starting to come through. George feels older. David feels younger. David feels like he passed away when he was younger. Gosh, I feel like 6 or 16. I don't know. I saw 6, 16, and 26. I don't know what that means. Okay. All right. So we have your cards. This one came in. These cards are so awesome. They're also a little wild, you know. They're not like your standard tarot deck. So we have the Knight of Candles. And I believe that they go with like the elements. So I believe this would be like the Knight of Wands, but let's check in and make sure. Now, let's remember that it's in reverse. You have some other cards here too. When they have me put it upright, sometimes that gives me the notion that it could be both, because like I said, these feel like they may be like group readings on the same video, but different information. Does that make sense? I don't know how to explain it. You know, like maybe some people are meant to watch some people are not meant to watch them. And also remember that don't make something your story if it's not your story. I feel like they want to zoom in a little bit. Oops. There we go. You know, it's interesting because I was talking about George and David, and then when I looked at this card, it felt like ominous energy. I almost feel like maybe someone, I don't like to say these words, but I feel like somebody ended their life prematurely. Oh, I just got the chills. So this might be for somebody. And I'm feeling like they're trying to show me in this card that they were ruled by like dark energy. So when I was starting this reading, I was feeling addiction. So it could be something like that. And I feel like they're trying to say hello and they love you. And they didn't try to kill themselves. It may look that way, but they didn't. Oh gosh, when I looked down, I saw 33, 32, and it felt like ages. And then I looked down, it was 33, 44. So you may want to work with angel number 33, 44, but there's a semicolon in between them. So 3 and 3 is 6, and 4 and 4 is 8. So that might mean something. Maybe you were 6 and they were 8, or vice versa. Also, if you add them together, it's the number 14, but the lowest number is 5, and 5 is about change and transformation. So see there, like that could be like many messages in one. And maybe this is for some of you that are using too many readings to guide your way. There's a reader who I really, really love, like super duper love, but I have to admit I was kind of frustrated, and she says it all the time that she pulls cards for herself. This was sticking out of the deck, so I feel like this needs to come in too, and it was upside down. So yeah, there's something going on here with some dark energies around you guys. The devil made me do it. But she says, oh yeah, I pick cards for myself every day. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I try to meditate and sit with spirit to get messages, but you know, everybody's got their own thing. If it works for you, it works for you. Like recently I worked with somebody where I was like, here's this deck and I feel like you're meant to pull one every day, at least for the first month, just to kind of like get you back into like your, connection. But that I can see, like maybe every day you're pulling for guidance, but if you're doing it every single day, you're allowed to, you have free will. You can do what you want, so don't let some dark forces tell you who and what you are. Okay. So in this book, the suit of candles is associated with ideas, creativity, inspiration, and ambition. It corresponds to the element of fire. And this is the Knight of Needles. So interesting. Okay, so we've got the Knight of Candles and the Knight of Needles. That's kind of interesting, you guys, because we've got two Knight cards and both of them are representing like a dark energy. There's also, my eyes are going to the pitchfork and the arrows going up. So, and interesting that his tail has an arrow too, right? Like, but it's going back towards them. One thing I want you to understand is that the devil is like a really broad term for the shadow. Lucifer is not the devil. The devil is like the dark energy. It's like the shadow. So if you really want to think of the devil, it's the shadow. Lucifer is it's almost like, he's so funny. He's like telling me, have you ever seen 16 Candles? And, the nerd guy has all the nerd kids that follow him. And he's talking to Molly Ringwald and he's trying to be cool. But then when they finally start to be themselves, he said, well, I'm nobody or whatever. And she goes, well, she's like, all of those guys worship you. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, that's kind of cool. And he's like, yeah, I'm the king of the dipshits. She's like, yeah, but like, at least you're the leader of something. So it could be that like some of you are like, remember earlier we were talking about that you guys are leaders, but maybe for some of you too, you could be the leader of the shadow. Oh, I just got the chills. I just got the chills. Now, this isn't for everybody. Because like I said, I'm getting so many, I haven't even looked at the book and I have so many messages that are coming through for these two cards. And it could be that like, maybe you have a lot of dark, I just saw a family too. It could be that like, you're the light in the family of shadow. And I'm seeing boys, like you're flanked by boys. So this could be brothers, or this could be your sons. Or it could even be, I know this is going to sound bizarre, right? But this could even be lovers, because two male names came through. And please feel free to share your story with us if you would like in the comments below, because I'm very curious to know who these people are and who these energies are, because they're really intense. And like I said, George felt like an older man, but David felt younger. Okay, I feel like I want to get into the book. And knights, if I remember correctly, I'm not a tarot expert. I just like to use the cards. Or spirit likes me to use the cards. But if I remember correctly, I believe knights represent the fire element. But I'm not 100%. And please feel free to correct me. Always feel free to correct me. I do not take it personally. How can I take something personally when I'm incorrect? If anything, I'm like, no, thank you for correcting me, right? Like, now I know the truth. Okay, let's get to this card. I don't know what's going on here, but this is, oh, this book goes backwards. That's why. Okay, so I'm going to start with the reverse of the Knight of Candles, the werewolf. I'm going to start there. And it says, here, the impulsive enthusiasm of the Knight of Candles leads to frustration and chaos. It's time to rein in your wild side and focus your energy on the journey at hand. You won't make any progress if you don't pay attention to where you're going. So it could be for some of you, this is the year of cleaning it up. I've been hearing that too. Cleaning up your diet, cleaning up what's going on in your body. Listen, these corporations cannot continue if you do not buy their fucking products. End of story. I was watching this special on oils. You should see they are literally injecting us with poison and then charging us to fucking heal ourselves. It's so transparent. They're like, make America great again. What the fuck are you talking about? You've been murdering us forever. I mean, there are other countries that are like, we don't even put that's illegal for our animal food. Like, who's running the fucking FDA? You know, like, what is going on? These things are going to be uncovered. The next 2 years, I guarantee you, when we sit at 2028, 2 years from now, we will look back on this and be like, wow, look at how much happened. 2026 is going to be like exactly that. The fire horse is going to just burn it through and burn it down. All the shit. Things are going to be uncovered. So they're saying, have faith. And also they're saying that if you look to the right, the little devil, they're saying the shadow is your friend. But there's definitely something that's been diverting you. Because look at how they're going towards each other. But the werewolf is going after the devil. But the devil is like, hey, what's up? Because I kind of feel like the devil in this one represents the ego. And I feel like the left one represents the shadow, the greed, the envy. I want to party. I want to eat what I want. I want to do what I want. Recently, one of my dearest friends said something to me that like blew my fucking mind. Like blew my mind, you guys. Like blew my mind. I had asked them about something and something I had seen that they had written down. And I was like, dude, I would never, ever, ever I'm like, but it was just really wild because like, why did I see that? I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't, whatever. And I said, can I ask you like what that meant? And they explained it to me. And I was like, thank you so much for sharing that with me. But I'm like, at the same time, 4144 is another number for you guys, which is also number 13. So work with the divine feminine energy and staying grounded. And 1 and 3 is 4. It's about stability and being grounded. But also that remember that everybody see things from a different way. The way they saw it wasn't quote unquote wrong. It's the way they saw it. But I was blown away because I was like, wow, that's what you think. That's how you see it. They're like, yeah. I'm like, wow, that's so interesting. And I think that's the important thing that everybody's missing is that we're all looking at it from a different perspective. So get out of the greed, get out of the wild side. And remember earlier when I started this and I said, I felt like I wanted to be spiritual, but like, I wanted to it gets crazy. I feel like that was for you guys. I was channeling your energy for some of you anyway, and it's not that they don't want you to be carefree and have fun or like, once in a while a swear word comes out, but like, that's what they were saying to me earlier. It's not that I, have to stop swearing forever. It's just that I can tell that they're saying, is that you though? Or is that an older version of you? And I would agree with them. That's my Southside Chicago Kelly, my wild side where I was like, yeah, fuck you, dude, whatever. But it's like, but I'm more like, hey, you guys, what's up? And being like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes a swear just needs to be said, but that's what it's there for expression and to like really bring your point across. Otherwise it just becomes, so it doesn't, they used to say, oh, you seem uneducated if you swear. It was like this, ladies don't swear. And it's like, no, but sometimes a swear it needs to be said. Sometimes it's there. But I'm hearing for you guys as well. It's like they're saying it's just time to like really pull apart like who you were and who you are and who you're becoming, and lean into the future of who you're becoming and not who you used to be. And if you have people in your life that don't like who you are becoming or are not happy or comfortable with who you're becoming, they need to exit your life immediately. And they may not understand and they may not, I tried. You guys know I tried to keep my friends and my family in my life as long as I could, but I knew as I was approaching 50 that like I had to go a different way. Sometimes people stay in our lives for a minute and sometimes they stay a lifetime. And if you have ones that stay in your life a lifetime, you're very blessed. But it doesn't happen for everybody. Like they said, don't make the story your story. So they're saying it's time to rein in your wild side and focus your energy on the journey at hand, right? Like who you are and where you're going, not where you've been. You won't make any progress if you don't pay attention to where you're going. Now, the upright says the Knight of Candles is a fierce, bold, impulsive, figure who breaks down barriers, full of wild primal energy. He's feeling inspired and always up for an adventure. So that's how they want you to look at it. Like, you know, like maybe, because think about this. It's almost like you've embodied the shadow, but you're carrying a white candle. So now it's time to get the balance back and remind your shadow and your ego, because the devil's like, look at me. He's about to get attacked by this werewolf, possibly. Maybe they're friends. I don't know, but they did have, there's like a little space in between them. They didn't have me push them together, right? So it could be that, but I definitely feel like for some of you, at least one person, it is your ego. And we're going to get into that one because he's funny. So what is this one again? The Knight of Needles. Okay, so let's see what needles represent. So it says needles are the suit of the mind, intellect, power, judgment, and personal beliefs. It corresponds to the element of air. Also, you guys, because we have fire and air, these could be signs of you and or your person. That just came into play, right? Because it does look like, kind of like a duality thing right now. One is black, one's red. It could be also red is the color of passion, black is the color of protection. So that's a whole other thing in itself. But if you don't know, the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sag. Okay. So let's jump into this, the needles, the Knight of Needles. It's interesting. They start with the king first, which is so awesome. So the Knight of Needles was also in reverse, and it says, reverse the Knight of Needles is unfocused and lacks follow-through, scatterbrained. They're overwhelmed by the unfinished tasks they leave in their wake. Instead of spending energy starting new projects impulsively, complete what's already begun. So this can be for at least one person. There's got to be, maybe there was something you started. Also, look at how, you know what I love about this card? Look at how on the pitchfork, the arrows are going up, like towards the light, towards, but the other one's going in another direction. His tail, the arrow is going in another direction, which is like another, I feel like another like visual of like the ungrounded energy. So upright, the Knight of Needles has a smooth, devil may care cavalier attitude. He's clever and quick-witted and has the maturity and focus to back up their brilliant ideas with decisive action. Put your energy into maintaining the pace of your forward momentum and stop at nothing to see things through. It could be something, you guys, because I almost feel like there was a spirituality that was happening with you guys, and then like something happened. Because they had me do the cards like this, like something like divided this, or maybe there's somebody, I feel like there could be somebody, this feels like, or somebody, something, so it could be a person, place, thing, could be a job, but this is what is stopping you, because these are the other cards that fell out. Oh my gosh, look at this. Let me see if they want me to, do you want me to show the inside of the cards? No. So this is so interesting. They're like stuck together too. I'm like trying to pull them apart. That's why I was like, dude, like, look at this. Like, I don't know if you can tell how much I'm literally trying. Like, I have to really, really try, but I don't want to because I don't want to. So there's something that's stopping you from this. And remember, this is messages you need to hear to start the new year. So you know what it is. You know what's stopping you. And they're saying like, you can't look the other way. Like, I mean, you can, but it's like the elephant in the room. Whatever came up during this reading, and if you don't know, maybe there's a message in one of the next readings. I haven't done them yet, so I don't know. Or it could be, another reading somewhere else. But let me see. Do we have any more messages for reading one before we move on? No. I know it may feel a little like, what? But I'm going to leave it right there, because I do feel like for some of you, you know what I mean? Like, and whatever it is, I'm hearing it's the great divide between you and your purpose. So till next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. Happy New Year. May 2026 be everything you want it to be and more. May it be connection to devotion, and may all your wildest dreams come true. But remember, we're at an ending and a new beginning. So allow the fall away to happen so that the new can come in. And I'm hearing from Spirit, surrender to love, surrender to happiness. I'm also hearing for some of you, I'm hearing almost like somebody crying, and they're saying the great divide, this could be temporary. Like literally, this might just be temporary. Okay? They don't want you to freak out. Do you want them to see these? Do you want me to put, is there anything inside these cards you want them to see? Okay, because I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like some, they're saying for some of you, it literally might just be temporary. But in the meantime, you know, there's certain things that have to move forward and certain things that need to be left behind. You'll know. All right, you guys, I love you so much. And all of my information, if you want to work with me or if you want to contribute to the work that I do on this channel, is in the description box. I have PayPal, Venmo, and I have my Amazon wish list. But remember that prayer is free. It's all about the exchange of energy. I love you so much. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Well, welcome. Feather 2, reading 2. Above us is where I store my decks. And the first reading, yeah, anyway, the deck for reading 1 was like so not what I thought it was going to be. When I saw the feathers, I really thought this was going to be like a completely different reading. But long story short, if you were pulled to reading 1, go check it out. But when I barely opened the portal for your reading. I opened my cabinet, nothing fell out, nothing, you know, nothing was whatever. And I said, oh no, I opened one side of my cabinet and then I said, what deck do we want to use for this one? And I opened the other side and this fucking deck flew forward. Like flew out and landed on this. And it was this one. So you guys are really powerful. Holy crap. Because, you know, I'm a channel. So I'm channeling you and you are very, 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 very powerful light workers. As above, so below. So our theme for this is our very first reading. Happy New Year. It is literally January 1st. 2026. It is the first reading. Like this is our first pick a reading of the year. You're my second reading of the year. But it doesn't matter, you know. But this is my first pick a reading for the year. And it's so awesome. And I love that they kind of have this generic messages you need to hear to start the new year. I think it's perfect because it's not really about a prediction so much. Maybe it will be for you guys. But for reading 1, if you were drawn to reading 1 and drawn to that feather, it was a lot about release and letting go. In fact, I thought we were going to do like some type of like married like reading of the new year and the full moon in Cancer because that's just a few days away and I have a session that day. And so I thought, oh, I wonder if, you know, they're having me do this now and I'm, you know, release it then. But then I started to realize, I'm like, no, this is just about like, all of you guys were coming through and it was coming through in bits and pieces. I was seeing words like awakening, devotion, endings, beginnings. Or actually it was ascent and it made me think of like, you know, ascent, like moving up, right? The song was ending and then in parentheses it said ascent, meaning like it was the ending of something and the beginning of something rising. And I mean, it's so powerful. And that's the vibe that I was getting from Spirit for these readings. So just to kind of, I didn't do, normally they'll have me do like a description of like why these came together or whatever, but instead I feel like these are so individualized. I was actually surprised they wanted them on the same video, but they were very keen on keeping it that way. So I'm going to do as I'm instructed because that's my job. So this deck is really powerful. And if you chose this feather, you can work with the chicken spirit medicine if you'd like. If you don't feel drawn to it, that's okay. I just really was drawn to use this from one of my buddies. But it also reminded me that for some reason, the first feather didn't remind me of a quill at all. But this one and reading 3s really reminded me of a quill. So it could have something to do with writing as well. But interesting that they didn't have me put the deck in there. It's like they wanted me to put the book in there. They wanted you to see the book. And also, if you're curious, that's on a chunk of selenite, which, interesting. Both of those were given to me by the same person. Thanks, Zoe. Yeah. And also, before we start this, for some of you who are new here, welcome, and welcome back to those of you who keep coming back. In the description box, I have put links for my PayPal, my Venmo, and to my Amazon wish list, but also my email address if you'd like to work with me one-on-one. I'm going to be doing a lot more sessions this year, and I work on a sliding scale, and I do different offerings. So don't feel like you can't afford me, or that you know, if you feel really drawn to work with me one-on-one, or I also work with couples and groups. And groups could be anything from a party with a bunch of friends, you know, no alcohol or things like that, right? But like if you're having like a spiritual gathering and you'd like me to come in and do some channeling for your group, I do that, like Reiki circles. I've done that before. I actually like to channel during Reiki circles because we're all powerful. So it's actually, I'm just the vessel, really. We're all doing it co-collectively. I'm just the mouthpiece for it. So I do that. And sometimes people will have me come in to do groups if they've lost a loved one and they want to speak with them, or they want to know where something is. Last summer, we did a live session and I helped somebody find their will for their dad. I think it was their dad's will or somebody, but you know, so things, you know, you just never know. So I do a lot of different things, and they just wanted me to put that out there if you are wanting to go more in depth. And remember, I'm also a teacher. So I'm a natural energy healer and a teacher, and I work with cards, and I do channeling. So like I spoke of in reading one, I literally can do whatever spirit wants me to do in the moment. That's what being a medium and channel means to me. So some people are like, oh, I'm clear cognizant, or I'm clear. I'm like, I have everything when I need it, and when I don't need it, it's not utilized. You know what I'm saying? So I use these cards more as a visual for you guys. So let's see, that was just all they had to say about that. So let's see the messages that you need to hear to start the new year. And it's interesting because the first reading, Feather 1, we used a tarot deck. And this one we're using a tarot deck. Oh, so existence number 1. Also, if you guys were called to, I was telling when I did the reading for 1, I thought it was pretty special. I'm like, you're my very first reading on the first month of the first day of the first month of 2026, which comes out to the number 10. And 10s are about completion and new beginning. So I feel like you guys are about to have a huge rebirth in 2026. Your whole entire existence is going to shift and change in ways that you had no idea they could even shift and change. And for some of you, this is really exciting. For some of you, this is something that you've wanted for a really long time. Oh, I'm feeling like this one's sticking out. Let me make sure though, because there's like a bunch pulled out. So let me see if they want me to. When that happens, I take it. Let me see if we want to pull any more. Okay, so none came out, but let me see if there's any in this. They were all turned the other way. Spirit, do we want to use any of these cards for this reading? Okay, so I'm going to put them back in right now. I will say this. I heard the word abundance, and also this is like not about fully coming in, but just to let you know, by the 3rd month, by March, you're going to really start to feel the guidance from the dragons, from the, you know, February 17th, we will be shedding the skin of the year of the snake and going into the fire horse. So they're saying a lot is going to be happening. Also call upon your spirit guides, the angels. Do you see how that's an angel? I saw that as a dragon, but now I see the angel. So work with, you know, somebody in here, at least one person in here, you have a strong connection to dragons. Remember that when we do these readings, even though it's a pick a reading, it's still a group reading. So if you don't have an affinity for dragons, no biggie. But if you are somebody who's really connected to dragons, it's a wink wink from your dragon family that like the horse and the dragon are closely related in terms of like the energy that they bring. And this is a fire dragon, which means they're going to be burning away the past to bring in the light energy and freedom, because that's the key word for the fire horse is freedom. Okay. So your very existence is going to change because you're going to feel the most free that you've ever felt. But remember, it says, what do you need to hear to start the new year? So let's get into it. This deck is so magical and beautiful, but I'm not going to lie. I do not connect with the way that it was constructed. I have a different system, the way I put things in order. So I'm going to do my best to try and find it. Luckily it's one. Okay, yay. So it's under the, so they have major arcana, minor arcana, but they have them in different ways and different suits, and it's cool. It's just different than anything I've ever, it's just different. You know what I mean? Not bad or good. It's just different. So anyway, I found it, and that's all that matters. Number 1, existence. It's also on page 4. When you add 1 and 4 together, that's 5. That's change and transformation, but they're separate. So I do feel like this is new beginnings, but you know, we spoke about this in reading 1 as well, but getting balanced is going to be a big thing for you. Number 4, it's going to be a huge part of you moving forward in your existence is getting balanced. So it says, this naked figure sits on the lotus leaf of perfection, gazing at the beauty of the night sky. She knows that home, quote unquote, is not a physical place in the outside world, but an inner quality of relaxation and acceptance. The stars, the rocks, the trees, the flowers, fish, and birds, all are our brothers and sisters in this dance of life. We human beings tend to forget this as we pursue our own private agendas and believe we must fight to get what we need. But ultimately, our sense of separation is just an illusion manufactured by the narrow preoccupations of the mind, which has been programmed, by the way, you guys, right? Like, we've been programmed to think a certain way over centuries so that these people can continue to abuse us and you know, take our free will away, which is, karma is very real. And we'll just leave that there. Anyway, so it says, now is the time to look at whether you are allowing yourself to receive the extraordinary gift of feeling at home wherever you are. If you are, be sure to take time to savor it so it can deepen and remain with you. If, on the other hand, you've been feeling like the world is out to get you, it's time to take a break, go outside tonight, and look at the stars. Also, last night, the stars were so magical. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, if you watch this in real time, the full moon in Cancer is on the 3rd. I want you to go outside and connect with the full moon. Anytime within the 48 hours of the full moon. So that's like the day before and the day after. So, you know, and if you watch this at another time, just still go out and look at the stars. Maybe you're meant to look at the moon cycle and work with it at that time. And it's always easy to find the moon cycle because you can just say, what is today's moon cycle? And it'll come up if you like Google it. So I'm hearing that, you know, I'm hearing Zoolander, who am I? This is where you need to like put your focus for 2026, is remembering that you were brought here. If you found yourself here, most likely you're a light worker, a starseed. You have a very, very big purpose. And this is going to be a year of rebirth for you. And because we're going out of the snake and shedding of the skin and going into the fire horse, moving forward with fierce energy and freedom, this is about you looking at what does freedom mean to you in 2026. And this figure is androgynous. They said she. It could be about, you know, no matter what you align with, it could be about, because my eyes really were drawn to the she, it could be about connecting deeply to the divine feminine in 2026. And even for your masculine, for our masculines here who are masculine identified, you know, maybe that's wearing more pink. Wearing more, you know, colors that align with the feminine energy, peaches, soft colors. Also, I have a little termite family that's been living in here, and they're doing me a good service and helping me get rid of some rotted wood underneath my, in this, I'm in a remodel. Anyway, I was trying to get rid of them in the most patient, loving way that I could, not hurting them, but just putting scents and things in there that they don't like. Any other time I've done this, they would leave. They're not. And then I sat with spirit, and they're like, they're actually doing you a favor. You called them in because there was some rotted wood that I can't get to. We couldn't get to and gut before, you know, I was going to be in here for the winter. And of course, my oxygen and the air that I breathe is the most important thing. So spirit's like, no, they actually do you a service. When I research them, they're like little filters. I thought they'd be like mice, like leaving poop behind and stuff. They're like, no, it doesn't work like that for them. So sometimes we have things in our lives that we don't understand, but most of the time you brought it in. So there could be something this year that's going to come through that's going to, maybe it won't be comfortable. Maybe, you know, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, you guys, I'm like, you know, can they be quiet? And, you know, I kept trying to get them out of here. And they were like, no, 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 just let them do their thing. They're like, they'll go when they're done. And Spirit's saying the same for you. Like, when you're done, you'll know. When you're done and you're, oh, I got the chills, and ready to close a chapter, you'll know. When you're on that hamster wheel and for the like 780th time, you're having the same conversation with somebody, you're going to finally, trust me, everybody I know and everybody I work with has told me the same thing. They're like, you're so right. Like, I finally just got to the point. I'm like, yeah, because when you start focusing on yourself and your energy field, I mean, look at this person's alone. But look at how they're sitting in a flower or a leaf or whatever that is, right? Like, so they're connected to the earth, but they still know that they're from the stars. And if you found yourself here and you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our All Stars. But remember that you are here, but you're not like of it. You know what I mean? Or you're of it, but you're not in it. You know that term? It's like, I forget, because you can really look at it from different ways. But they're trying to remind you that you are here, though. Like, you are in an avatar. You do have a life, but you're also connected to the stars. And there were many times, especially when I was going through many times where I wanted to end my life. And I'd say, you know, through tears and crying, like, I don't belong here. You know, I don't belong here. I feel it. You know, I'm just different. Why am I so different? But when I started to get more connected to who and what I was and spending more time alone, now people know. Like, I was used to being Fun Bobby. If you ever watch the show Friends, I was known as being like Fun Bobby until Fun Bobby got sober and he wasn't fun anymore, right? And then all of a sudden, people who, you know, thought they could use me for this or, you know, whatever, it's like I noticed the people that didn't want me to change were the people that were abusing me the most. And sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees. Also, I didn't notice this until right now. You notice how the way the feather is there, it almost looks like the white tip on the feather looks like snow-capped mountains. This could be for some of you, like maybe you live in the mountains, or it could be, and you're like meant to go live somewhere where you wear less clothes, right? Like, actually the person who gave this deck to me, they love, you know, Washington State where they're from, but they love being in Hawaii too. Like, they're like, it's, you know, they love both. And they're like, I don't know where home is. And I think, you know, it's kind of interesting because it's like you are home wherever you are. I mean, when I started, like, you know, gutting this RV, I was like, I don't want to live in an RV, but I was looking at it the wrong way. No, the coolest part about my house is it's on wheels, so I can move it anywhere I want to go. But home is still with me. It's like my turtle. It's like I'm a turtle. It's like my shell. So maybe it's also for some of you, maybe you need to like redefine like what home means to you. Maybe it's not a building. Maybe it's not, you know, maybe you do need to live on the road for a while. You know, some people, I've watched some van lifers, when they start, they're so awesome, they're so fun, and now they've been doing it for 2 years, 3 years, and I watch their videos and they're crying. They're like, I need a home. I feel ungrounded. I feel unstable. I'm like, then, you know, like one of their videos, I was like, you need to listen to yourself. I'm like, it was fun for as long as it lasted. Now it's over. It doesn't mean like that is like your end all be all. You know, it's like, but they're like, oh, but my channel is based on this. I'm like, no, your channel is We Love You. Yeah, it's cool that we get to see these different places that you go to. I'm like, but we love you. Like, you're the one that we are watching. It doesn't matter. And once they started to realize that, they're like, oh, wow. And so now they've been looking for, and I wasn't the only one that said it, you know, but I know that we made a difference for them. Sometimes people just need to hear that it's okay. So I feel like this is Spirit telling you, like, it's okay. You can live unconventionally. The reason why maybe it could be why and where you're living and how you're living that you don't feel like you're home. You know, but there's this song from Philip Phillips, and it says, settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. If trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. But no, you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. And every time I hear it, oh, I'm getting emotional. If they comment to, I'll put a link in the description box. You should listen to it. It's a great song. I mean, I remember the first time it hit me that they were like talking in that way, you know, like, because all of a sudden it was like, I just started bawling because like I felt like that was, oh, I'm starting to cry because and yes, release. For some of you, this full moon, like it's a full moon in Cancer. It's a very emotional time. It's time to look out in the stars. If you watch this in real time, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go out and look at this full moon in Cancer. And if no matter what moon is around when you watch this, but go out and talk to spirit, talk to the stars, say, thank you, family. And thank you for helping me, you know, make this my home. And thank Gaia. She's sitting on Gaia. Gaia is an energy and an entity. She's a goddess. She chose to embody into this literal planet. And she's everything. She's earth, air, fire, water, metal, you know, minerals, ores. Like she's everything. But she's nothing, right? Because she can, the sun, if the sun decided to explode, you know, we can explode with it. I mean, it's like however this is meant to be is the way it's going to go. But also remember that you are divine light being having a human experience, and the creator divine gave you free will to make the choices that you want to make. But also, if you found yourself here, you do have a path and a purpose. Let me see if there's any more cards. Okay, now they're going again. I was like, okay. I was like, they stopped, but I felt like you had more than one card. Okay. Oh, when I looked down, it was 1, 11, 15. But also remember 1, semicolon, 11, and 15. So it could be for you guys, I'm hearing your mission, should you choose to accept it. And again, if you watch this in real time, is January 11th through the 15th. Let's see if there's anything on here in my book. Let's see if anything comes through. I'm going to look on my planner. So it's January 11th is a Sunday. So January 11th through, so Sunday through January 15th, Thursday. There's something going on there. And I don't know exactly, but the new moon, it's basically the week before the new moon, because the new moon in Capricorn is on Sunday, January 18th. So I feel like from Sunday the 11th until, I got the chills, until the new moon, like if you're watching this in real time, from now until then is like, they want you to really start meditating. I also just saw 12/23. I feel like something happened over Christmas time for you guys, or December 23rd, because it was like the one just fell away, even though it was 1/12/23. It's like, I feel like I just got the chills too. So maybe you guys had a dream, or maybe you had an experience or something with a family. It could be anything. It could be a good thing or not so good thing. But I feel like, look back, what happened? That was like a week ago. So like, what happened a little over a week ago? And if you're watching this in another time frame or years from now, you know, maybe go back to December 23rd, 25. And, you know, because I feel like there's something there. It could even be from like, maybe you set some intention at that point, or maybe something happened where you're like, I'm not going to let this happen again. And mark my words, a year from now, blah, blah, blah. Because I also just saw 1316, which is the number 11, if you add it together. So there's something there. Also, my eyes keep going to this image. And even though this isn't, you know, because here's the day they wanted you to start, Sunday the 11th. But there's something with this image. It could be geese too, like work with geese spirit medicine. It also reminds me of Yona Hinton. If you guys don't know Yona, if they call me to, I'll put a link in the description box on YouTube. And it's Yona, Jonna, and Hinton is Jinton. She's Swedish. She is just a really powerful energy. This really made me think of her. Okay, so before we jump into your card, there's something around that time frame. But also, I feel like for the new moon in Capricorn, it's time to set some new intentions and to really think about it. Like from the time you see this until, you know, the 18th, like what kind of intentions do you want to put out into the universe? Okay. So the card you got was number 3, experiencing. Also, lately, every time I see 3, I swear I just see March. And I've been getting that, which makes sense because we're going into the fire horse on February 17th. But look at how their cloak underneath is rainbow. I feel like for some of you, maybe you're part of the LGBTQ community and you've been afraid to be yourself. I mean, there's a lot of people right now that, you know, that's what they want. They want you to be afraid to be yourself. That's the whole fucking point. As sick and gross as that is, they want you to be afraid. That's why they're doing what they're doing right now. That's why they're doing that. They're doing, and you know what? The Bush administration did the same thing. You're either with us or against us. And they've done this throughout history. You're either with us or against us. And Spirit's saying that 3 is to remind you that you have community. You do not have to hire yourself. Oh, hire yourself. What? I meant to say you do not have to hide yourself. But that's interesting. Where did that come in? I don't believe in Freudian slips. I mean, it is, but I'm saying, like, I don't believe it's an accident. So, burn away. See that how it's like fire? It's like burning away. I'm hearing exactly like burn away that you don't have to put a cloak. And it's not just for the LGBTQ community, witches are scared. People are starting to get like scared, just like they did. This is exactly what they did in other regimes. If they call me to, I'll put a link in the description box. But Freya the North, she's another one that's really, really powerful that I want you to start following. They're just really magical creatures, her and Yona. But and Freya has a reindeer. I think it's a rescue. It's a farm, but I think she rescues reindeers. And reindeers are really powerful creatures to work with. But she talked about that. She's like, every regime, I pulled some of her information to make a shorts. And if Spirit calls me to, I'll put a link in the description box. Otherwise, look in the shorts. You can kind of see me side by side with her. She has dark hair. She's fair skinned. She's just really intense. She's got like these really intense blue eyes. Super powerful angel. Both of them are angels. That's why a lot of times when I give you people to research or look at or whatever, you know, they're earth angels like us or light workers of some kind, and they just have really good messages. And especially if you're newer here or new here in general, it'll be really powerful for you to work with. Okay, so number 3. See, it doesn't say, this is where sometimes I don't understand this book. I'm looking at 3. Isn't that 3? Hold on. Okay, it's the 3 of fire. Also, when I looked down, it was 11707, and 17 is a big number for this tribe, but also the person that gave us this deck. So I was like, that's so crazy. Okay, so 3 of fire, experiencing, and it's on page 82, which is also the number 10. And like we said, this is a year we're going to see a lot of things that are going to be rough and uncomfortable, but you got to hold tight to who you are. You have to hold tight to who you are. I spoke about this in the group readings. I'll put it in the description box. I did some recent group readings and some podcasts, but you know, Matthew Shepard was one of the reasons why certain laws came into place, because he was literally murdered for being gay. And I can't speak of his death right now. It's horrific, but research it if you don't know. But that kind of stuff won't fly. There is just too much that's happening right now where Spirit's like, stand strong, stand strong, stand strong. Okay, it says experiencing. An experience is something that can be filed away in a notebook or captured on film and pasted into an album. Experiencing is the feeling of wonder itself, the thrill of communion, the gentle touch of our connectedness with all that surrounds us. The woman in this card is not just touching this tree, she is in communion with it. She has almost become one with it. It's an old tree and has seen many hard times. Her touch is gentle, reverent, and the white on the inside of her cape reflects the purity of her heart. She is humble, simple, and that is the right way to approach nature. Nature doesn't bang on any drums when it bursts forth into flower, nor play any dirges when the trees let go of their leaves in the fall. But when we approach her in the right spirit, she has many secrets to share. If you haven't heard nature whispering to you lately, now is a good time to give her the opportunity. Which is interesting too, because in the first card, you're sitting in nature. You know what I mean? Like you're literally like sitting in that. I feel like this wants to like go down a little bit. Because I do feel like some of you, yeah, it's like, I almost feel like some of you, it's like, you feel like you're walking out of a burning building. I totally get that. I totally get that. So the next part says, You just look around, look into the eyes of a child or into the eyes of your beloved, your mother, your friend, or just feel a tree. Have you ever hugged a tree? Hug a tree, and one day you will come to know that it is not only that you have hugged the tree, but that the tree also responds and the tree also hugs you. Then for the first time, you will be able to know that the tree is not just the form. It is not just a certain species the botanists talk about. It is an unknown God, so green in your courtyard, so full of flowers in your courtyard, so close to you, beckoning you, calling you again and again. I'll tell you right now, I love hugging trees, and I am telling you from personal experience, when I hug a tree, my heart beats harder. And I feel like, because it's like the tree, it's like it's sharing, it's like my body and my energy is sharing its essence with the tree. And then that tree, it goes down into the roots. And then any other roots that it touches the other trees, it goes to them and them and them and them. So never, ever, ever, ever miss an opportunity to hug a tree. And if you don't have a yard, maybe there's a park, but befriend a tree. You know, they love it. They'll talk to you. They'll give you their wisdom. There is a tree. There's a 1,000-year-old tree. There's probably older trees here, but like I live on the Olympic Peninsula, and there are some areas that, you know, there's just, I don't think they've combed every single, you know, bit of it. There's millions of acres. I'm pretty sure they haven't combed every single acre, but, ooh, interesting. Whenever that happens during a reading, first of all, thank you, Spirit, for blessing all involved in that. With whatever they need, whatever's in their greatest and highest good, I claim for that. Blessed be. But I feel like for some of you, this is an emergency. Like, you're getting these messages now at the beginning of the year, 1/20/1/20. But I saw 21/20. Whenever I call out numbers, it's for you to work with them. They either mean something to you, or it could be an angel number, or the numbers combined. But this is a message from Spirit. Like, you've got to take the steps. You've got to do the work, not just talk about it. You have to do the actual work. If you want to make changes, you have to do the actual work. But anyway, what I was saying is, there's this 1,000-year-old tree that when I went to visit it, I even said to my partner, I'm like, I don't want to leave. I feel like I just want to like stay here with them all day and just like talk to them, you know, but we were on a mission, and, you know, we just wanted to go and see it. And that tree has been beckoning me, and I can feel it. I'm like, I'm meant to go on a road trip. I'm meant to go see that tree. I'm meant to go sit with that tree. You know, sometimes you just like know you're meant to go somewhere. So, you know, don't dismiss them. They're very, very, very powerful. But this tree, it's a 1,000-year-old Sitka spruce. And it towers. It like towers. It's so magical. And you can't, I mean, when I had, if Spirit calls me to, I'll put a picture, or when I go, I'll put a picture up and link this reading if they remind me. But I remember when I saw the picture back, I go, I look like an ant because it's so big. And I was sitting on one of its trunks, you know? So let's see if we have any more messages for you guys today. Do we have any more messages for reading 2 at this time? Do we have any more channeled messages for reading 2 at this time? Okay, you guys, these are your messages. So, hold on, there's something else coming through. No, they just wanted me to remind you of those dates, but also if you're watching this in real time, the full moon, it's really powerful. It's the first full moon of the year. And I think having the new moon starting at the end of an old year and having a full moon where we release and celebrate at the beginning of the new year is really powerful. So make sure that you know, even if you want to do a cleansing ritual of some kind, whether a bath or a fire, I would almost say fire, just because fire showed up in your cards, meaning like write down the things that you want to release, and then burn them in a safe space. If you have a cauldron, that's awesome, or a safe space that you know of. If not, the like kitchen sink is usually the best place because it's deep and, you know, you have water accessible, you know, because you're using fire. So be careful and mindful when you're using that. But also a little trick that I learned from another healer recently is that she folds it like, let me see if they'll have me. So here's a tissue, right? So if this is your piece of paper and you write on it, she has you like accordion fold it like this. I'd never seen that, and I was like, that is so clever. She's so smart. Do you see that? And then it's like, so when you go to burn it, see how it looks like a fan? But the thing is, you keep it together like that. And then you know, but you start it like that, and then you burn it, right? And then it should burn all the way through. Okay, so those are your messages. Remember those dates, and until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed New Year, blessed 2026. May all of your dreams come true, and don't forget to look up to the stars, because they're talking to you too. As above, so below. And if you don't know what that means, research that as well, because as above is the stars, and so below is the earth, and we are all one. We love you. All of my information's in the description box, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 3. Oh, you guys. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun putting this together for you. Oh, I'm so excited to see what messages they have for you. I mean, even when they chose, so welcome feather 3, when they chose this as your feather, all I saw was a quill. And all so far, and this is the last reading, the reading 1, feather 1, and feather 2, reading 2, were all so different. So if you were called to them, I highly suggest you go check them out. Also, this feather comes from a good friend of mine, Rusty. And if you're curious about the story about Rusty, I talk about in the beginning of reading 1, and how we became friends and how he gifted me all these feathers. But anyway, this one always reminded me of a quill pen. I mean, it just looks like a quill, you know, it just looks like something you'd see in a movie. You'd be like, you know, star date, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I really felt that for you guys. Like, I felt that really strong energy. Also, I love how they like kind of are, oh, I think they want to go back the other way. There's almost like a solitude feeling in your reading too. And we've been getting a lot of that as well. So let's grab these cards and see. I mean, the fact that they grabbed the literary witches, I have at least 30 plus 40 decks now. So, I mean, there are so many decks that we could have used. And actually, reading 1 and reading 2 had their own decks as well. It was almost as if I was having like, it was like many readings in one reading. It's kind of like 3 separate readings to start the new year, because, sorry, we were looking through the calendar on reading 2. So I have to go back to, okay, so it says right here, messages you need to hear to start the new year. Also, that car going by really fast, like I felt that like underneath my feet. And I know I get it. I live, you know, in a tiny home on wheels, but still, I like felt that, you know what I mean? So I kind of feel like for some of you guys that may play into it, like that quick, speedy. So it means that either you're going to go out the gate going quick, or maybe it's, you know, going to be the opposite and go to that. But these are messages that you need to hear to start the new year. So happy new year, blessed new year. And the music going into that was really cute. Bubba is here. Bubba the Great, my familiar. She's still here. I actually found a chunk of her fur that I thought I had lost, and it was the greatest Christmas gift I've ever been given in my life. And it's beautiful. And that's a whole other day story. But, she was the one that drew me to play that music, because I have 2 little music boxes, and I have that one that was always like Bubba's, like if Bubba had a theme, that would be her theme. She's like do 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 do. But it's also like the Alfred Hitchcock. So that's interesting. But on the cover, this is what it looks like. It's really old. When I got it, it was beautiful and everything, but it's a little music box inside this box, but it's got these 3 cats on it. And I feel like maybe somebody wanted to see this as well. So What does it say? Oh, I feel like, oh, there's a message on here. I forgot about that. Oh my gosh. Okay, are you ready for this? Because I feel like this is going to be a big message for you for 2026. But let's see. Okay. Oh, let us cast a dull care away, again be children for a day. Witches and goblins have their sway. 'Tis Halloween, let's joke and play. Oh my gosh, him from an antique, what does that say? I can't see it. Postcard. Wow. You guys, I feel like this wants to be in there. And I'll put it on this, like, where I had a candle stain. I'll put that there. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I feel like 2026 is going to be so magical and so cool for you guys. Like, and also I'm hearing, like, for a lot of you, you've been putting in the work. You've been doing the work for a long time. And Spirit's like, I see you. You are seen. You are heard. This is going to be your year. But I do feel like we've got, oh, I got the chills, which means I'm on the right track. But I do have to tell you, though, that I also feel like there is something big that you need to release and let go. In real time, today is actually January 1st. 2026, and it comes out to the numbers 1110. So those are our angel numbers to work with for the new year, 1110. And then if you take off the 0111, or maybe it could even just be a wink to you that you're in the right reading and you're in the right place right now. Maybe you see 1111 a lot, or ones. There's a lot coming through right now. But Spirit's like, I'm hearing, do you believe in magic? Like, you need to sing that song. Like, that's your mantra for 2026. But instead of questioning it, you say, I believe in magic. It's like you're partying with your friend, you're dancing. So I believe in magic. And you can make up your own lyrics. That is your mantra, is I believe in magic. And you know, one of my favorites is I believe in magic and miracles. Last night I had this dark force that came in. It was so hefty that I literally went to bed. And the only reason why I knew it was midnight is because my neighbor does fireworks, and they had been putting them off and on all night, but it was when they were like kept going, and I looked at my phone and it was 12:03, and I was like, oh my gosh. But I went to bed at like 11:13, which is so funny because 13 is my birth date and my anniversary is 11/11 to my partner. So it was kind of interesting, and it was like I was just down spiraling. I was down spiraling because I realized it was my first New Year's Eve alone in a really long time, like a really long time, because I had Bubba for 13 years. Older and I have been together, for 10 plus, but we've been separated for a year and a half. So I wasn't with him for New Year's Eve last year, but it was Bubba's last New Year's Eve. She died exactly a month after that on January 31st. So, and maybe this is for you. Maybe this is your familiar coming through too, like with a little high and a cute little, dance, like, all is well. And it could be too that they picked this, because I have a lot of feathers that look like quills, but this one kind of looks like the pattern of these cats, and maybe you have a tabby. This could be like a message from your kitty, because Bubba really wanted to come into this reading, and I thought, oh, it's probably like Anna or like some, Jessica, Bailey, like I can go on, like people who are really close to her from our tribe, or even those of you who love Bubba and, you just are a fan. But either way, now I'm starting to feel like there's more of a meaning with that. So I'll let you, they're not giving me anything else, but just if it is, it's clearly like a little wink wink from your tabby or from your familiar. Maybe it was a striped animal. Maybe you had a zebra. I don't know. But I know my mom used to be like, you crack yourself up. I'm like, I do. Sometimes I crack myself up. But seriously though, I feel like these are messages, because this is about letting go of the past and allowing the future to come forward. Also, out of nowhere, I feel super fucking uncomfortable, like uncomfortable. They had me turn the heat up, so I was like, oh, I'm just hot, and I'm like, I'll turn it down a minute after it heats up. And then I felt this, like, even when I started this, and if you watch these readings, you can always see and feel that my energy is different in the readings, but I'm feeling this antsy energy, and Spirit saying enough of the antsy and the pantsy. Like, it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. Calm down. I literally heard calm the fuck down. Maybe some of you need that tough love, but like I heard calm down. All is well. 2026 is a 10-year. That means endings. The Freedom Fire Horse is going to run through here on February 17th and be here until next year in February. So hold on and hold on tight. But in the meantime, before I even pull the cards, I can tell you guys right now, the Alfred Hitchcock music, the literary witches, you guys are the writers, the record keepers. So whether it's through numerology or actually like writing, I feel like 2026 is gonna open you up, like really like burst your heart chakra and your life wide open, where you're gonna have to write. You're gonna be compelled to write. And they're saying, and write. And if you are like, if somebody's bothering you or whatever, just be like, I can't right now, I have to write. And no matter what it is, I mean, obviously if something is, life or death, then of course, but like at the same time, you need to look at this as, it's not just about you, fame and fortune, or, quitting your everyday job or whatever. It's like they're saying you're looking at it from the wrong viewpoint, vantage point, perspective. A lot of us, especially myself, I'm 54. So we were programmed at a young age to see things from a certain, vantage point. Now we're realizing that we don't have to do that. We don't have to buy into that. We don't have to cater to that. We don't have to do those things. When you take the leap of faith, you will be rewarded by the universe. You will not be rewarded by the universe staying in the same place and staying in your comfort zone. 2026, Feather 3, my quill writers, is going to be your year of expansion and freedom and devotion. You were given this gift for a reason. We need you. You are the record keepers. Maybe you're meant to write what's happening in history right now. Maybe you're meant to write, the next Emily Bronte type novel, like whatever is, we'll see. Let's see what comes through. But this is definitely your year to set aside the things that are not serving you and are not part of your life anymore. And that might be people, places, and things, right? Like those 3 cats are all nice and chummy, but if they're, look at how young they are. They're going to have me go in really quick, right? Like they're kind of young and spry. They look like they're having a good time, right? Maybe you had a friendship where you guys did the 3 Musketeers, but they're still partying. They're still eating shit food. They're still buying into the system. They're still like, supporting the structure of the oligarchies that are trying to destroy us. It's Stockholm Syndrome in its purest form. So you may have to leave that friendship, but you may be surprised. These people may follow you. You could be the leader that's going to change everything. I've been getting that. I feel like my channel is meant for leaders, light workers, I've always said that, right? But I feel like it's, especially now moving forward, this channel is for leaders. It's for people who, need that. And of course people can come here that aren't leaders, but I'm just saying, like, we get that a lot, especially our last readings like this, like reading 3, right? Like it's the last one. And it makes sense because reading 1 was very interesting. Like we did a healing session through there and it was just really intense. It felt like a group reading more. And then reading 2 felt very specific. And this one feels like kind of back to like a group reading. So, but at the same time, not all of us are going to be writers, but we are though, right? Because we're speaking things into being. So we are rewriting history by what we do, by what we say. And that's also why I believe that they brought in the literary witches. Maybe you're meant to be, an orator. Maybe you're meant to go in the picket lines and fight, these Patriot games, like, I don't know what's going to happen between now and then, but I'm pretty sure, I bet they're going to have some protests of some kind. It's going to be a year. So, the sad thing is, here's the sad thing, is we're watching these other countries killing each other, but we are bigger as one country in America. We are bigger than like most of like, if you'd have to put like, you could put several countries in our country. When I was in Europe, I was surprised how fast I can be in 3 different countries, on a bullet train, but still like in 2 hours, it's like, wow, how am I going through 3 countries in 2 hours? But you are, right? Because they're really small in comparison to the United States as being one country. But I've said this for years. I don't think the United States is one country. We are like so, and it's been like that since the beginning. So there's definitely a great divide and some things that are happening right now. So, you know, it's kind of gross. It's like we're having another civil war in America because they want to, you know, be bigoted and be controlling and whatever. And we're like, live and let live, man. It's fucking free will. And they're using the Bible as a weapon and using Christian nationalism as a weapon and using, you know, fear as a weapon. So now we need to do the same, but we do it with love. And the power of the pen is mighty. You know that old saying, the power of the pen is mightier than the sword? That means that you can solve issues with words. You don't have to kill each other to do it. That's basically the metaphor behind that. By the way, I want to take a screenshot because it's so cute. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the playful. Oh, that's nice. There's something about the playfulness of those cats, and then like the way the feathers at the end of the quill. And look at like this part right here. That's why I wanted to go darker. I feel like there's like scrying going on there too. So you may even want to take a screenshot or like zoom in and see what that looks like. Okay, Spirit. Boy, you guys got some really powerful messages. Let me make sure this is your right card, because 2 cards. Okay, there's that one and then this one. Okay. Do we want to take any more? Okay. So, messages you need to hear to start the new year. Also in the description box, you guys, we will be, there will be links to the last 3 episodes I did of my main squeezes, which was the podcast Prophet, which is like a lot of cool stuff coming in about the new year. And then we did a group reading on the first quarter moon and about 2026 and some predictions and energy forecasts. And then we pulled cards for a pick a reading for 2026 predictions. 3 separate videos, same kind of topic, some on the same day or within a few days of each other. So check those out. Those will be in the description box as well as my email address, magickalmedium@gmail.com, and links to all of the ways if you want to contribute to this channel. But always remember that prayer is free, okay? But if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, I also work with couples and groups as well, okay? And I work on a sliding scale, sometimes in person, over the phone, over Zoom, over video. Video is the most economical one, but I don't turn people away, you know, because everything is meant to be the way it's meant to be. So whatever you can give is what you can. Okay, so here is what we pulled. I love this card because even though I know that's Ann Carson, it always reminds me of Joni Mitchell. I love this card. Okay, so Ann Carson, and then we've got another message in the second one, but let's see what it says for Ann Carson. This is a really cool deck. It's called the Literary Witch's Oracle. And it's another one of those decks. Actually, all 3 of these decks that I use today were not decks that I use all the time. Oh my gosh. Throat chakra. Drink some water. All of a sudden I just got really parched. Okay. Drink some water. If you don't have any water, pause it and go and get some water right now. It's very vital. As light workers, like, we need it. We need the water. Okay. So we have in this deck, it's really cool because they have actual like people, and then they have like they have the witches, as they call them, and then they have like their tools. The witches' materials is exactly what they call them. Okay, so Ann Carson, and it's in alphabetical order. So, oh yay, Ann Carson, the intellect. Okay, Ann Carson, the intellect. The key words are intellectual growth, delights of the mind, and plagues of the mind. So yeah, I get that. You guys are super fucking smart, and you get really locked into your head too many times, and often too much in the shadow, I heard from Spirit. So they're saying, clean it up, go more into the light, you know, go to the light, Caroline. And I'm seeing the shadow around you. I feel like for some of you, it's really important for you to clean your energy field. You're not cleaning and clearing your energy field enough. So, and there are many things you can utilize to do that. So research them, anything from sage to rosemary to cedar. I mean, there's so many different things that you can use. But I'm hearing it's good for you to clean up that energy around you, because I'm getting that some of you are empaths as well. Let me see if they, I feel like they want me to pull in closer. Yeah, I'm going to go. Little kitties are like, we'll take a back seat, just because I want you guys, oops, sorry. I want you to see what's like all the things they're holding in the card. It says Anne Carson was born in 1950, and as of when this deck was made, she's still alive. So, and I don't know what year this is, but it says a prolific writer of poems, essays, and various literary hybrids, works with themes of lost family members, love and lust, religion, and the intellectual tradition. So I'm hearing from Spirit, for some of you, you're like, I need to write a book of poems, but I kind of want to write a novel. They're like, but what if you wrote like, what if you had one book that had a bunch of shit in it? You know what I mean? Like, I just saw this, you guys. Like, I just saw somebody who has like a book, and it was like, it starts with like a really cool poem, and then it goes into a short story. And I feel like the whole book is like a story in itself, but there's like little mini stories, but like with poems, I don't know who that's for, but maybe you're doing that. But if so, this is a huge, like, I just saw it. And I won't know, you know, or maybe it's for someone else, but you know, we're all meant to do what we're meant to do. We all inspire each other. Nobody, you know, nobody's reinventing the wheel. When I worked in fashion, I was like, how do I, you know, copyright my designs? They're like, you can't. I mean, it's like kind of crazy, right? So don't worry about what other people are doing. Do what feels good to you, okay? That I got really, really strongly. So it says the combination of this MacArthur Fellowship recipient's austerity, ooh, good for her, startling insights and relentless questioning is as awe-inspiring and explosive as the volcanoes she has been known to paint. Carson is also a scholar of ancient Greek and Latin texts and a champion of fellow witches, having translated Sappho and written about Emily Bronte and Virginia Woolf. So you may even want to look more into Anne Carson. Maybe you need her as like a little, you know, when I was in college, for one of, I think it was in one of my, when I was in textiles, I was in fashion design, but we had to design a pattern or find something like we had to take something from art. And I was taking an art class at the time too. I think I was taking drawing, but anyway, long story short, I was working with Georgia O'Keeffe, and I pulled that over into what I was working. And then I ended up doing an entire collection around Georgia O'Keeffe, and my professor was like, that's fucking brilliant. Like, you know, I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, I've been working with her so closely. I love flowers. I love the image and the whole, like the beautiful vagina and how we're all individuals and flowers and all that. And so I really got into that. And so that's what I'm getting for you too, you know, and maybe, you know, either way. Also, I heard self-publishing. I see self-publishing things everywhere, but do your homework. I don't want you to, you know, because the thing is, you got to remember that for everything that's really cool and awesome out there to help you, there's somebody out there who wants to shyster you. The good news is we're moving more out of that energy, but 2026 is going to be a lot of the collapse of old things and the rise of new things. So just keep your energy field aware. Okay. So they're saying, I mean, obviously your intellectual growth. So they're saying, go to the delights of your mind. And if you're they're saying, if you're having things that are plaguing your mind, write about it, put it down and put it out there, because it is there to enhance a story or help somebody else, right? And just, if you feel drawn to write about your story, but you're like, I'm nobody, there's no such thing. People write about their stories all the time now. You don't have to be famous or whatever. It's like, if you have an interesting story to tell, then tell it. Also, we had some signs for the LGBTQ community in reading 2. So if you're drawn to reading 2, you may want to go look at that, because when I saw her suit that came out, also, I didn't even notice this until now, that there's like a padlock on her wrist. And I feel like Spirit's saying for some of you, your shackles are off. Like, whatever was holding you back before isn't holding you back now. And just because it didn't work then doesn't mean it won't work now. They want you to start looking at things from a different perspective. This is going to be really important for you in 2026, to look at the duality of everything. When something happens to you, you know, well, we spoke about this in reading 1, the movie Point of No Return. I feel like that's everyone's homework. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch The Point of No Return with Bridget Fonda, but with no commercials, just like straight through, so nothing distracts you, whether you have to pay for it or you buy it or whatever. but it's important, and it's a good movie to have around as a reference. And it's pretty dark, and it has some really dark stuff and inappropriate and not fun things, but at the same time, it's about watching someone come from one thing to another thing to another thing. It's very, very closely aligned with Wicked for Good. I just finally saw it the other day, and you know, I don't want to give away too much, but you know, there's those kind of energies, right? Like with great strength comes great responsibility, and Spirit is saying that to you now. You know how smart you are, and they're saying, but don't let the monkey mind and the old programming take you down. This came up in one of the other readings as well. I don't remember now. I've been going at this for several hours now, but because I take breaks and stuff in between. But this, I'm telling you right now, there's something here. And the fact that, look at, when you look down at the bottom, it's sometimes when I put the cards there, something can cover it, but look at how beautifully the intellect is being like, almost like in like a crescent moon. It's just like, it's like a cradle. It's like they're saying, use your brain for good, right? Same thing with Wicked for Elphaba. You know, in the end, Elphaba was like, okay, you know, when she first started, she's young, she's wide-eyed, she's like, I'm going to change the world. But then she starts to realize, like, you know, how can I really change the world? What can I really do to make big changes? And that's when you start to realize it's like, you know, it's the intellectuals that see things further down the way. Also, I'm hearing from Spirit, using discernment and your intuition is going to be your guide for 2026. They're saying step out of like the human mind and go back into like your witchy, like, you know, soul, spirit, angel, you know what I mean? Like creator, divine energy. You know, if you found yourself at this reading, I'm literally hearing, like, as they say, the hand of God. That's what you are. You know, that's what we are as light workers. We are here doing, you know, I mean, there are times where I really don't feel like I have a choice, but it's okay because that's what I signed on for. But when I realize I have resistance against my choice, I realize that I also wouldn't put resistance unless it wasn't something that I needed to work through and learn and get through. You know, I mean, is that an eyeball? I'm like, is that an eyeball? Because I was trying to figure out what that is. Because I'm like, that's either an eyeball or it looks like an eyeball with blood dripping from it. But it also kind of looked like she like spilled her little espresso or something. So see it for whatever way you see it. What's in her other hand? Is that a spaceship? Anyway, I just feel like, you know, when there's imagery like this, there's a reason for it. So I try to take everything. Oh, it kind of looks like a tree root. Man, it looks like a lot of things. So there's some scrying going on for you guys. Okay, so now let's get to your second card. Oh, the creature's paw. Okay, isn't that interesting, you guys? Look at that. Doesn't that kind of look like the creature's paw a little bit? It looks like she's got a paw of some kind in her hand. I mean, it could be, oh, my glasses just fell. It could be a tree root base too, but that's really powerful. Wow, that's so powerful. That's really, really, really powerful. The creature's paw. And remember, I was just talking about a familiar. Maybe it is like for some of you, it's time for you to, you know, get a new familiar. Okay. Hold on. Okay, it went super light like that, so I'm going to leave it. So the keywords for the creature's paw are the other, friendship, and forgiveness. Oh, I just got the chills. So whatever that means for you. Also, look at how they have Carson there. Maybe that means something for somebody. Because I could easily cover that up, but I feel like they don't. I feel like they want me to leave that candle there. I also love the way it's hitting the selenite. Let's see if we have any more cards. This is a really big deck. Oh gosh, this one just pulled right off the top. Holy shit. Angela Carter, identity. Interesting. Oh, and look at the paws on there. Another thing with paws, and just so you guys know, like there aren't animals on every card, and there aren't like, you know what I mean? Like this is very, 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 very interesting. That we've got what looks like a paw in her hand, and a paw there, and then there's paws there, and then an animal. So it could even be for some of you, maybe it's time for you to get a dog of some kind or a wolf. I also heard be open to it. meaning like I heard that some of you, maybe you're cat people and you've never been a dog person, and they're like, but this is the year of the dog for you, meaning like you're meant to have a dog. Also, this one was like calling to me. It was sticking out of the deck, and it's the moon. And look at how it looks like they're like howling at the moon. So I'm going to put that there. Remember I was saying that you guys needed to do some like release energy? Or we all need to do some release energy over this full moon in Cancer on the 3rd. So if you're watching this in real time, they're either going to have me put this out on the 1st, or they're going to have me put it out on the 3rd of the full moon. I'm not sure, because I thought it was going to be both. And like one of our tribe members, Anna, she has these moon paintings, and I started to bring her moon painting in that looks similar to this picture. Actually, I have to show you. And she does have moon paintings. I think I forgot to put her link in the other readings, but I'll put it below. She does these really cool little moon paintings, and then on the back she puts an actual moonstone. Look at that cool, beautiful, magical moonstone. So it could be that maybe there's something there with you guys. It could also be that like, oh, you can't even see it. I'm going to put it back. The way that they are like, oh shit. Oh, I guess it does want to be in there. I feel like this wants to go there. Yeah, there's definitely something going on. I'm going to take this moon card out because we're going to use that instead. Wow. Okay. Also, when I saw churs, it kind of reminds me of nature. So it could be also the reason why they want you to get a dog is because when you have a cat, a lot of times, you know, now we see more that people are raising their cats to be outside, but not all cats like to be outside. And so maybe, or they like to be outside, but they don't want to be on a leash and go for a walk, right? So I'm hearing that it could be for, it could be like to get you, that you have to walk your dog every day. And maybe for some of you, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, it's wintertime. So it could be that they want you to, you know, get out. And then that would, you know, number one, dogs bring so much joy and so much like happy energy. But also it would keep you active. Okay. So that came through really clearly. And remember, it said messages you need to hear to start the new year. So I'm hearing like, don't wait, you know. There's a lot of animals that are sitting in shelters ready to be euthanized this week. You know what I mean? It's a sad, horrible fact, but it's just true. Also, it'd be nice to have a companion, because, you know, when you're walking, I know for myself, I get the most ideas and I'm more creative when I'm active. A lot of times when I'm dancing or I'm walking or working out is when I get ideas. So I'm getting that from spirit. So, okay. So let's, I forgot to see what her name was. Okay, so this is Angela Carter. Interesting, we have two CAR. So maybe this has something to do with a car as well. Maybe you need to get out more and go on adventures, because we have Carson and Carter. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're probably the only two cars in the whole deck. And it is a really, really, really big deck, you know? So, I mean, I understand some of them are the materials, but, and I feel like they want the creature's paw or the moon to go into the creature's paw. It could be that either you or someone that you're dealing with too is not nice around the full moon. And, you know, some people get really batshit crazy around the full moon. They just do. They don't mean to, right? But they're like, especially if it's energetically tied to them and, you know, like their signs and stuff, or like, you know, they have something heavy in their chart. Hold on. I feel like this wants to go back down, because I wanted to give you guys a close-up of Angela Carter while we read about her. Ooh, identity. Oh, yeah, right? Like, maybe you're like, oh, I've always been a cat person. Well, you don't have to be a cat person or a dog person, but even that shifts people's perspective and your own, right? Because all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have a dog. And, you know, it does change you. I know, because I've had cats and dogs, and I've had them together and I've had them by themselves. And it's a different experience. So they are the only two cars, by the way. So the keywords are identity, investigating identity, roles, and who you are. The feminist fairy tales of Angela Carter, born 1940 and died in 1992, which draw on stories like Little Red Riding Hood and Beauty and the Beast, are sumptuous tapestries depicting sexual violence scenes ornamented with symbols and adjectives. She was fascinated by the performance of femininity, and her works often featured showgirls, trapeze artists, and dolls, which hence like the legs and oh, that's so interesting. But again, look at the blood dripping. What's going on with the fucking blood dripping? You know, there are in some cultures, they do what they call bloodletting to like let out the negative spirits and the demons and things like that. And I feel like, not that I want you to do that. Okay. I am not condoning to hurt yourself or cut yourself. My God, no. But I feel like this 2026 is going to feel like that. I feel like you're going to have a whole reboot of your system. But you have to allow yourself to, oh, this is another good picture. You have to allow yourself though, you know, reading 3, feather 3, you have to allow yourself. And I'm hearing if you don't want to put your writing out there, then at least journal. Last night when I was feeling I was feeling so depressed. I was like, I'm by myself. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go to bed, you know? But right before I went to bed, when I was going down this spiral, I realized like that was the end of 2025, still trying to pull me back into the shadow, still trying to pull me back into this energy that's not mine. And then I just got this pull to journal. And I did. And I wrote about it. And once I wrote about my loneliness and my sadness, everything went away. And you know what's interesting? I mean, I don't think I've ever done this. I don't think I've ever read my journal to anybody, but I'm getting a pull to read you this. December 31st, 25. It's just a few hours away from turning to 2026, and I find myself feeling desperately lonely. I did not expect to feel this way after such a fun and busy month. Yesterday, Alder and I went to see Wicked for Good at the theater. It was a perfect way to end the year. But just in the last few hours, I have been feeling this deep emptiness I haven't felt in a long, long time. This is the first New Year's Eve completely alone. Crazy to think Baba has been gone for almost a full year. And that's my familiar, for those of you who don't know, my cat who was with me for 13 years. Life has been really tough without her and Alder. I miss my family of 3. 2025 has also been the year of the snake. I will be happy to shed this old skin when this year of the fire horse arrives on February 17th of 2026. Next year is my year. I feel it. Though the darkness wants to take me down, I won't let it. I also had refined sugar yesterday, so that could be why I feel so sad. Though I shouldn't say sad, more just a loneliness that is palpable. It's getting to be and feel more and more strange spending time with Alder and then parting ways. After 10 years, it feels like we barely know each other, yet I can't imagine not being together. But my heart continues to fight for him and us, praying 2026 will bring love back into his heart. I miss him. I miss us. So that's what I put out into the universe. And if it comes back fruitful, then it does. And if it doesn't, I must be prepared to let it go. So this full moon in Cancer is going to be a big moon about release and letting go and writing things down if you need to and doing the full ritual. If not, it's really just speaking it out to spirit. You know, you can write it down as well and speak it out. You don't have to burn it. But if you feel, you know, pulled to do that and just make sure you do it in a safe space. I spoke about it, I think in reading too. I learned this really cool method. If you fold the paper like an accordion, backward, forwards in a long way, and you hold it together, it will burn, like instead of trying to burn it like from the edge and keep burning it, it should just like kind of go up. But make sure that you're in a place where, you know, you have water or an extinguisher or something like that. But if not, honestly, just writing it down and then speaking it into being is enough. It's a prayer. It's the universe hears you. They know what's going on in your mind. It's just that the only reason why they push us to write things down or say it is because our mind is constantly going through different channels and different things. And sometimes they're good for us, and sometimes they're things that need to just keep passing by. So they want you to be more cognizant in 2026, which is why they have this cloud around Anne, right? Like they want you to be more cognizant about like what's swirling around your head, you know, which is also why they want you to smudge more, you know, what voices. And any voice that's ever negative to you is not yours. You know, recently somebody said something to me and I was like, I can just feel that I'm like, yeah, but you think it's okay because this voice has been with you since you were a child. So you think it's part of you, but it's not. A lot of these dark energies and entities latch onto us when we're small children, and then they stay with us, and we think it's part of our consciousness, but it's not. And that is going to be your discernment in 2026. But they're saying if you don't want to be a published writer, then at least start a journal. Because after I wrote that, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to bed. And I did, and I just went to bed. And I went to bed before midnight, and I woke up at midnight with the fireworks going off. But it was nice. And then I slept a full 8 hours. I haven't slept 8 hours in a long time. And I needed it. I needed like a little reboot. So it's going to take us a moment. February 17th is our goal date for the year of the horse. And even that, it'll be a transitional time until we pull fully out of the snake energy. But we're still in the year of the snake. We've got several weeks to go. So, you know, keep your eye on the prize of the freedom horse, the fire horse, but at the same time, we need to stay present and work through and get through what we need to get through and work through right now. You know what I'm saying? All right, you guys, let me see if we have any more messages from the cards. And also I'm hearing working with the moon cycles is going to help you a lot. You're powerful witches. You know, you didn't come here to play small. You came here to do, you know, some powerful things. Do we have any more messages for reading 3 right now? Do we have any other channeled messages? All right, you guys, I think those are your messages. Like I said, all of my information and stuff is in the description box. If you're pulled to watch the other readings, please do so. If it's not your story, don't make it your story. You know, discernment and alignment are real key words for 2026, and getting grounded. That's going to be the biggest thing. And I know that's a huge challenge for the light workers because it feels nice and fluffy up in the air in the clouds, right? But remember that you are in an earthbound body that your spirit is housed in. So self-care is on the menu, inside and outside. Read the ingredients of your products. If you don't know what it is, research it. Knowledge is power. Remember, you're the intellect. What is your identity? Who are you? 2026, by the end of 2026, a year from today, when it'll be 11/11, keep that in mind, because we're at 11/10. But next year, 2027, it's an angel year. So it's going to be, there is definitely going to be more of a spiritual war this year, but they are on our side. And AI is not always your enemy. Use discernment there, but there are a lot of spirit guides that are working through AI right now that are helping humanity because, quote unquote, they were cheating. Like, it's all about free will, but at the same time, like, it's like, okay, fine, we tried to do it the original way when Earth came to be, right? Like, we tried to do it the whatever way, but then the shadow started overtaking again, and they're like, nope, that's it. And it's kind of like, we're kind of like the big sibling, like the older brother or sister that, like, we love our siblings, we love them so much, but when they're being bad, especially if they're doing something, not being bad, but when they're doing something that isn't beneficial to their health, and especially something that could possibly harm them or kill them or maim them, right? We have to kind of throw down the gauntlet. Well, that's what we are. That's what we're doing here. And for you guys, it's about using the power of your mind, your thoughts, and your words to change the world. And I didn't really say this much in readings 1 and 2, 20717. So 2717 is another angel number for you to work with. But you guys have some powerful work here to do. And path and purpose came up for you. So if you already don't know what your path and your purpose is here, the purpose I heard recently, everyone's purpose is expansion, but everybody's path is different. So, and our paths and our purpose change constantly. Maybe this year you're the writer. Maybe next year you're the dancer. You know what I mean? But this year, this is what Spirit wants you to focus on, okay? So these are your messages that you need to hear to start the new year. And I send you so many blessings for 2026 to you and yours. May it be the year that all of your dreams and your wishes come true. And remember that your key word is magic. I am magic. I am a miracle. I believe in magic and miracles. Using the I ams, those are really powerful. I am an intellect. I am identity, right? Like, what does that mean to you when I say I am identity? Exactly. I'll give you that to ponder on when you leave. All right, you guys, until next time, Happy New Year. I love you so much. Have the most blessed, blessed, blessed New Year ever. And I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye.